So today my vlog is going to be about my stepfather and his struggles with my mom's lung cancer. Specifically and mostly about afterwards. When he first was told about the diagnosis, there wasn't too much of a reaction. He basically just didn't talk about it. He worked his butt off, and he definitely helped out with the bills and everything, and after she was put into hospice, he took over with the finances. Once she died, he still didn't talk, but since I was living with my boyfriend at the time, basically, and I hardly came around, I didn't know what his struggles really were, and apparently he was struggling with it, but he never talked to me about it. He had done some drugs before. He had smoked pot, but apparently after my mother's death, it got worse, and he started doing crank, and when he started doing that, I'm guessing it wasn't too long after, it kept him up all hours, and he was up for probably a whole week and only slept 3 hours in the 1 week. He was seeing things and hearing things. He was seeing people coming out of the floors and spying on him, and he was convinced that they were spying on him to get proof that he was doing things to fire him. He was convinced that my mom was in the television a couple times. He said he saw her and was trying to talk to him, and he couldn't understand her or couldn't hear her, one or the other. One time he saw little spiders all over him and making a web all around him, and that probably spawned him to actually put off bug bombs in the house. I came home at one point and all 3 cats were in the cat box, the cat carrier outside, when I got home, and there were bug bombs in the house and the windows open. I was like, okay, well, whatever. Got some stuff, went to my boyfriend's house, and didn't think anything of it really. I was like, okay, I guess we have bugs. I didn't know it. Alright. Well, a couple days later, my aunt called and said that my stepdad went to his brother's house, who was next door, pulled a gun on him and told him, I know you're trying to get me fired, because he thought he was in on it, and tried to shoot him. His brother knocked the gun down, so he shot into the ground. He said, man, you're effed up, you need some help. And I guess my stepdad was like, suddenly realized, I guess, he's like, I do need help. So my other uncle and my aunt came over, the one that called me, and she said that they took him and they went to hospitals all around the area and couldn't find one with a psych ward. Probably for 5 hours they drove. They finally found one, and he was admitted. He was only held for 3 days, but during those 3 days, after I heard that, I packed up all of my stuff and I moved out. I did not want any part of that. I didn't care how much he was grieving, I'll be honest, because my life is my life and I'd like to stay alive, so I didn't know if he'd ever pull a gun on me, much less his brother, And if he did that to his brother, God knows what he'd do to me. So, my boyfriend and my dad both helped me move much of my stuff into storage. And, well, since then, I've only talked to him a couple times. He has apologized, and he had hoped that it would have worked out, but I guess depression and, the stress and everything, and even financial stress even, has kind of dampered, anything. So I don't know if it ever could have been any better. I mean, he's always been the type to do drugs and not really talk about his feelings. He's a guy, so guys don't talk about their feelings. But life has to go on. George Harrison even said it the best, because of all the Indian influences, is that our body is just a vessel. It's like a suit that we put on. It's not really, what we're all about. Life goes on afterwards, and you're just in another form. So, but life should be something happy, and when someone dies, they take off that suit and they go somewhere better, and that's the way I thought of it. And I always thought that, well, she's somewhere better now. She's happy, she's comfortable, she's not paralyzed, she can walk around and do whatever she wants now. And I'm guessing he didn't see it that way, and he saw it in a very sad way. So It was very hard for him. It's better to go through things together, and that's one thing I would like to say. I wished he'd had talked to me about it, if anything, you know, at least to me, because we were going through it together. At least we should have gone through it together. In a way, we went through it together, but in a way we didn't, because he didn't talk about it. Of course, I didn't either, but I was going through it in my own way by talking to my boyfriend about it. I already grieved in my own way, but to my boyfriend. I don't think my stepdad really had anyone to talk to. I'm sure he had friends at work, but it wasn't the same. He had his brother. It wasn't the same, I'm guessing, and so he turned to drugs for an outlet, and to me, I've always disliked drugs. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine, but when it starts impeding on other people's lives and on their health and their life as itself, you know, that's not good whatsoever, and it shouldn't be that way. So that's the end of this one. Thank you very much for watching.